And talking about real humans and their real problems, here is one that Joe Biden should worry about: the shortage of baby formula in the United States. It's becoming a serious issue, a national crisis. The US has only half of the supply it needs. The government will now hire planes to bring more baby formula from overseas. But even that won't solve the problem, not immediately at least. Parents are desperate to get baby formula for their children. And they're even falling for dangerous alternatives, like creating it themselves. Here's a report.
America is facing an emergency. Parents are struggling to feed their babies. There's an alarming shortage of baby formula in the country.
Mommy. I love you, Albert.
In Seattle, this desperate family went out of town to hunt for some supplies. They still couldn't get the baby formula they needed.
I thought I found some formula in Texas, in border town, and so I just booked like a cheap red eye without even a return ticket and went to Texas to pick up this formula and spent 2 days talking to her and trying to meet at places, and she never showed and eventually just blew me off.
The crisis has landed on the president's table. He's been forced to act on war footing. Biden has invoked the Defense Production Act. This is a wartime tool. Shows you how severe the situation is. Businesses in America will now be pushed to deliver baby formula ingredients to manufacturers first. Planes will be hired to fly in more baby formula from overseas.
I've directed the Department of Defense and the Department of Health and Human Services to send aircraft, planes overseas to pick up infant formula that meets U.S. health and safety standards.
How big is the shortage? 43%, which means America has only half the supply it needs. In some states, it's particularly bad, with shortages exceeding 50%. How did Superpower America run out of baby formula? Blame the virus from China and the supply chain disruptions it caused. What made it worse was the sudden closure of a major manufacturing plant in Michigan. This created a massive gap in supply that could not be filled. American parents are desperate. They're resorting to all kinds of alternatives.
I think about like the parents where, maybe their baby has to take like a certain sensitive formula or something very specific.
They've gone through like 7 different types and they finally found the one that doesn't cause, digestive issues with their baby. I really feel for those families.
Some useless, others dangerous. Posts like these are going viral on social media. They describe a recipe for making baby formula at home. Experts say this is a recipe for disaster. Pediatricians are asking families not to fall for such claims. They warn that homemade formula lacks key vitamins and nutrients. It could hurt the growth of a child. Are there any safe alternatives? Experts say that there are some options. Babies above 6 months of age can be given solid foods, except for raw honey. The second best option is using donor milk from a milk bank, but pediatricians say parents must be sure about the source. They encourage families to consult their doctors first, before picking an alternative way to feed their children.
WION is now available in your country. Download the app now and get all the news on the move.